Show you got heart. Now we're playing the game and we're totally scoring. Learning how to make a virtual business boring. Showing up every morning, ready for the show. I'ma get ready. Cold engaging virtual meetings 2.0.
It's a triple header today of Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. If you're watching live here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment. Ring the bell. Hey, we just completed over 1,000 downloads to this podcast. Hey, thank you to all the people who are listening to this, and do this, right? If you are not a subscriber, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. Get all the episodes, over 80 episodes there, a new one dropping every Wednesday on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. In addition to that, we host a conference every year called the Engaging Conference every October. This year will be October 28th through the 30th with a super secret surprise Halloween after party. So go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/CON. You can get the free ticket or, of course, come in the paid ticket and hang out here live with us. Be in person. By the way, this is a new feature we just added. The first 50 people paid registered to this event get 5 minutes on our stage with 4 camera videos and coaching from many, many of the speakers. That is worth more than the price of the ticket alone. Now, speaking of the price of the ticket alone, you want to meet this person. She's the energetic event MC who transforms events from good to grand. She is the go-to MC for top organizations like Nike, Walmart, PayPal, Visa, UPS, and the United Nations. Wow, we're going to talk about that. She's also been recognized as one of the top 20 Black women entrepreneurs to watch and was honored as a distinguished alumni by her high school in 2021. But most of all, she's a mom, a sports mom to 2 boys. Please give it up to the one and only, and I'm about to work with her in 2 weeks, National Speakers Association member, Quinn Conyers. Quinn, what is up?
Hello, John. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that energetic and engaging introduction.
Well, as an MC, that's like high praise. I appreciate it. No, I'm not worthy, right? I'm not worthy, Quinn. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad. I'm really excited. The 2 of us will be emceeing with Phil Mershon. You know Phil. He's been a guest here. He's also been a speaker at my Engaging conference with his Unforgettable, right? That's his book, Unforgettable Moments book. And so we're going to be together in the real world in San Diego. Right, Quinn?
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, not only do we get to be together, we can exchange event energy and we can also support each other as fellow MCs. So, I mean, this is going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time.
Going to be a great time in San Diego. What a beautiful city. Now, wait, Quinn, where are you at right now?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore. Oh, and we're going to be very close to. Oh, no, so I'm going to Baltimore, Maryland. I'm trying to think. I'm going on the other coast, so now it's close for me to Boston, but I don't think Boston's as close to that for you.
No. Boston's closer to New York, but it's still the East Coast, but it's a different, it's a little further up north.
Well, let's get closer to you, right? And let's figure out a little bit more for my friends who don't know you. Quinn, just take a few moments to introduce who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you again, John, for having me. Again, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I take extreme pride in transforming average events into epic experiences as a professional event MC. And my job is really simple. I am the glue that holds events together. Consider me an event GPS. My job is to make sure that attendees are connected and captivated to conferences from start to finish. And I just love what I do, and I'm really grateful that I can use my gift of gab in a very unique way.
Now, we had our good friend here, Mimi, right? You know Mimi Brown, who just came off of the main stage at Thrive, National Speakers Association's Thrive Winter Conference. And she said this question caught her slightly off balance, which was, most people ask about your first speaking gig, but I want to hear, Quinn, what was your first MC gig?
Ooh, my first MC gig. I don't even know if I remember, John. I don't think I remember. Here's what I do know. I know that in ninth grade, I was like, I want to be a talk show host. Like, I knew in ninth grade that I wanted to be a talk show host. And it's interesting because I went to college and I, studied speech communications. That was my major. So I took every class in public speaking, intro to public speaking, advanced public speaking, argument and debate, communication on television and radio. And I knew that I didn't want to be necessarily a news person because I had a lot of personality and vibrancy. And, you have to be very like neutral when it comes to news. So the
Right.
next best thing, that I saw was, Oprah, who has had her own talk show. So I thought that that's the direction. Little did I know that all these years later that I would be hosting and emceeing on stages at events. So I don't necessarily remember my very first MC opportunity or engagement, but I do remember in ninth grade where I decreed and declared that I wanted to be a host, and I'm happy to be walking that out.
So Mimi shared too, like her childhood answer was that while she was 9 years old, she created the Mimi Brown show in her house.
Oh, nice! Look at that.
She's
It's
like
all
bringing on her uncle and like like friends of the family. It is like yeah, the Mimi Brown show. I thought that was hilarious. Oh my goodness. So where did your speaking career start? Right? Did you start as an entrepreneur or did you hang out at a company before you did a thing?
So I actually started in college.
Ooh.
When I started at college, I went to Westchester University for undergrad, and we all got our syllabus to see what classes that we were going to take.
Mhm.
And in that moment, everybody started freaking out because there was an intro to public speaking class, and I was the only one like, "What's the problem? Give me the microphone." So I quickly realized that what people's number one fear was, I began to flourish, and not only that, that when I talked, when I spoke, that people listened and paid attention. Now, John, I tell people all the time that I'm only 5 foot tall, but when I open up my mouth, I become a 5 foot giant. So I realized very early on that my superpower was speaking and captivating, connecting crowds. And I began to lean into that. So that was kind of probably the beginning signs and stages that I recognized that I'm supposed to be doing something with the words that come out of my mouth.
Well, you'll enjoy this. I actually took a real vacation, right? I actually didn't work for 7 days as an entrepreneur, which some of us as speakers, that's difficult. And I got a chance before I left Seattle to see Connie Chung on her new book tour. And she's amazing, right? Still sharp, super sharp. And she wrote this book as a memoir, and she talked about, she broke a lot of ground as one of the first women anchors, first women Chinese or Asian anchor. And they just got to break a lot of ground. I mean, have you felt like you have had to either break ground or that you felt like you've been assisted by other women leaders who have been before you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm in a space where I'm in a lot of community where the majority of my friends are keynote speakers, right? And although keynote speaking and emceeing are in the same speaking family, they're not two of the same. So I definitely feel like I'm a pioneer and I'm a trailblazer because I am prioritizing emceeing and event hosting as the speaking service that I lead with. So absolutely, I believe that I want to leave a legacy with my language and change the world with my words. And I believe that through elevating events, through making sure that speakers and sponsors and attendees are activated from start to finish, that will be my unique way. So I've always saw myself speaking on stages. I just didn't know that it would be in this form or fashion, but I also believe this is something that I'm not good at, I'm grand at, and I'm leaning into it
Yeah.
because lots of people can speak, especially for 30 minutes or being interviewed, but it takes a different skill set to capture and keep the attention of an audience for one or multiple days. So at first, I was really resistant because a lot of people were encouraging me, why would you do all of that work when you can just keynote for an hour? But I also realized that this is something that I'm really, really good at. And it's a skill set that comes very natural to me that I polish and I perfected. So I want to run and be, with the thing that I'm good at. I don't want to just operate in my zone of excellence. I really want to operate in my zone of genius. And I'm very well aware that I'm seeing and event hosting is my absolute zone of genius.
Now, of course, engaging is one of my key words, right? And I'm just curious for you. Number one, what's your definition, though, of an MC? Because I think there's lots of people different have different definitions. And two, what's one of your ways that you keep the audience engaged with you as an MC?
Sure. Well, let's talk about what it's not. A true professional MC is a person that does not just introduce speakers and sponsors, right? Let's just kind of get that out there right now because a lot of people think that an MC is the person that is a speaker or who introduces speakers or sponsors or gives you and tells you where the bathroom is, right? Like, that's not what I am. I consider myself a crowd connector, I'm an audience activator. I am the person who has your front or back just in case something hits the fan. I am the person that is making sure that your audience is really, connected and captivated from beginning to end. I am transitioning. I'm doing session summaries. I am making sure that I'm not just on stage, but I am an extension of the team. So my job is to make sure that if John is the keynote speaker and for whatever reason he has 60 minutes and he's running late, Quinn's filling in as the MC. Let's say, for example, he speaks for only 45 minutes instead of 60. I'm the one coming in and buffering that 15-minute time. So I'm transitioning. I am part comedian. I am part keynote speaker. I am part emotional support. I am also having the psychological safety of the attendees in mind. I am the fire putter outer, right? So there's multiple things that I'm doing to engage the audience. And I have a different type of energy where it is 9 o'clock in the morning versus engaging you and connecting with you when you come back for lunch, which is a different type of energy that you need to get the same amount of people to show up for the last session of the day. So I have many tricks in my MC tool bag, but part of it is having a certain energy and a personality. And yes, sometimes that's the word that comes out of my mouth, but I'm also very intentional about how I show up and
Yeah.
speak before I say a word. And there's certain walk on music that I request to make sure that I can activate the audience as well. So, again, if you're thinking that an MC is a person that is just doing speaker and sponsor introductions, you don't have the right MC, number one, or
Mm.
number two, you have not maximized the abilities of your MC because 10 times out of 10, there's probably so much more that we can do, but we're being restricted and reduced to just doing introductions. And there's so much more to this role.
Well, speaking of much more to this role, let's head back to March of 2020 for a minute, Quinn.
Sure.
And I just want to see where was Quinn Conyers in March of 2020, and how did you adapt to a world that changed rapidly?
Well, like everybody else, I was punched in the face, right? Like we were all punched in the face, by the pandemic. But the unique thing about that was it also opened the world up to me. See, when the world
Mm.
opened down, I was still kind of speaking and I had a bag business that I was kind of transitioning off of. And I was heavy on an app called Clubhouse. So I don't know if you're familiar, but
Oh
Clubhouse
yeah,
is
come
like
on, I know Clubhouse.
amazing. So that is where literally I began to shine. And I was teaching people how to verbalize their value and communicate in a world that went virtual. So I've always been good at how I can explain my excellence. Like I'm going to tell you, I'm not just a regular MC. I'm going to explain to you what makes me different, special, and unique. So I realized that a lot of individuals had really trouble with communicating who they are and what they did. So I really got on Clubhouse and began to show people how to use their voice in a virtual world. So John, we share that. And, I started hosting rooms. I got connected
Mhm.
deeper with the National Speakers Association. And then
Mhm.
people were in my room and said, listen, we've been doing our events for years live. This is the first time we're going virtual. And you are captivating and energizing me. And I can't even see you. I can only imagine what you can do. Do you host virtual events? And I said, well, absolutely, I do. Where can I sign up? So I began to start hosting and emceeing virtual events, absolutely, for organizations and companies who had their event at one point, live and now had to go virtual. And then my name just got passed around. I would say probably within 6 months, I put about $4,000 of upgraded equipment into my revenue room. That's what I call my home office. And I began to stream and host live events. And when the world opened back up, a lot of these same clients invited me to work with them live. So during the pandemic, I don't like to be booked and busy. I don't ascribe to that. I was peaceful and paid because I began to tap into the virtual MC side of me because at the time people needed to be engaged. These events that were once live were now virtual and they wanted someone with high energy, me. They wanted someone who was engaging, me again. They wanted someone that could really connect with a crowd that was virtual through the chat box, Me.
Yeah.
I became a chat box champion. So that is kind of how my 2020 worked out. And I'm grateful that because of that experience, that I began to prioritize my speaking niche, which is emceeing. And not only do I do it virtual, but I love doing it live as well.
I think we should rewrite Jukebox Hero to be Chat Box Champion, right?
Yeah, that's what I call the chat because that's what you have to pull off of when doing a virtual event. You don't have the audience, so I use the chat as a way to engage. And I know you know this, John, so I'm not going to preach to the choir, but that's how I do it.
Well, I tell that chat is the second most engaging tool on virtual. Do you want to take a guess at the first?
Camera on
Yeah.
camera.
The camera and the video, right? We talk. All right. And
Yeah.
I call breakout rooms, right, the third most engaging tool, right, on virtual. And so, but wait, no, Quinn, have I ever shown you my revenue room?
No, let's see.
Right. This is the revenue here. This computer is busy
Ooh,
right
that's
now.
nice.
So this is what I in front of my face every day. And my question back to you is like, what's like the one thing, people wonder all the time, and like speakers like get addicted to the dopamine hit of like buying, stuff from Amazon. But what's the one piece of equipment that you really said got the return on value for you investing in it in that virtual revenue room?
I would definitely say like the lighting. Like I think I might have underestimated. I mean, it's on now, but if I turn it off, like it's a big deal. Like I didn't realize how much lighting played a part, and I know like a lot of people had like a little ring light, and that's what I started out with as well. But when I got super serious, I mean, I'm not gonna. It's not as nice as yours, but I have like three lights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To make sure that I come up vibrant, and my voice is already a vibe, but I also need the visual to match that as well. So I didn't necessarily want to aesthetically not be pleasing because of bad lighting. We've all been on a virtual meeting or an event where someone is just gray and blending in dark lighting. It's just awful. I can't even take you seriously or listen to you if I
Right.
can't see you properly.
Yeah. Okay, watch this. Let's see. I've never done this, Quinn, online. Let's see if this is gonna work. Alexa, turn the lights off.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I
No, take
understand.
me seriously, Quinn. I'm like a pro. I'm one of 400, right? Alexa, turn the lights on.
Exactly. Huge deal. I mean, huge, huge, huge. I mean, if you want to play tricks, right? So this is one. Oh,
Okay.
horrible. Right? Like we're coming back here, and then it's too far under, but my light is like underneath. But yeah, it's a whole different experience. Trust
It's a
me.
whole
Do not
different, yeah.
go
No,
out.
I know. We've seen it. That's how I get most of my coaching clients is like a private message. Yo, you're amazing. Hey, do you like got a tip for you? Would you like something that would make you even better? They're like, I'm interested, and then right, we'll find some stuff. So, yeah. What is do you have a story like the craziest or most interesting or best thing that happened in the last 5 years, either on virtual or on hybrid?
I think the best thing that has ever happened, like within the last five, I think it's like I had several conversations with people. So I enjoy talking to you, John. I enjoy talking to different people. And I remember just having a conversation with Wendy. And Wendy is a good friend of mine, and she is a MC as well. And I remember just having this struggle and tug of war with how to position myself, right? It was very easy to be a keynote speaker because I mean that's the world that I started out with originally. And she had just some really, really good insight. And she said, Quinn, stop trying to be a horse when you're called to be a unicorn.
Wait, you got to say that again. Say it again.
He said, stop trying to be a horse when you were called to be a unicorn, meaning I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to make my message work because a lot of times I was discouraged. People just really didn't understand the MC role and people didn't really want to pay for it, invest in it. They believed that boring board member Bob or introverted Ian, who's the CEO of the company, was better to do it. And I was just getting frustrated. I felt like I was hitting my head against a wall trying to get people to see the value and what it is that I do. And, for a while, I'm like, I'm going to let this go. Like some people were getting it, but some people were not getting it. It just seemed easier to label and position myself as a keynote speaker. But having conversations with other MCs, that's why you need community
Right.
in this business. It really showed me like, no, you have something unique, you have something special. and you can uniquely really be the reason why attendees rave, return, and build relevant relationships. I'm going to lean into this versus leaving it alone. And I think that was one of the most greatest conversations that I can have, because she was exactly right. I was trying to conform versus becoming a commodity. Who doesn't want to be a commodity?
Well, in every speaking, right? Again, we just went through our speaker showcase, and I'm so excited, Quinn. By the way, I can share this little win that I got. The three people who I coached all moved to the second stage.
Oh, nice. I love it.
I don't, I don't know if it's me or not, but I pretend like it's me for a moment.
Yeah, take
And
the
so
credit, John. We're going to say it's you.
it's exciting. And the second part around is I would really love, right? Maybe this idea is being born right now amongst us. Let's go get some of the top MCs we know and build, like, self-produce a video that says why choose an MC, and make it like the funniest, fun, energetic, but real thing that has ever existed about why you have an MC. And then all of us as MCs, like, when the client says, why should I pay money for MC? We just push a button, play the video, and like, you get it yet or not?
I love it. Let's talk about it. I mean, we're going to be in person, and I would love to talk about what that would look like. We can even do some reenactments, like of like CEOs, like, all right, you know what I mean, and really kind of make it funny and like, and this is. But the truth of the matter is, it's really how it goes. You know,
It is.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, because some of these intros, okay, so like in this conference, right, the intro starts to sound. Let me take your intro. Hold on a second. I'm gonna take your intro, and they sound like okay, they sound like this. Coming up next, she's energetic event MC. She transforms events from good to gravy. Oh no, grand. She's got 20 years of experience, right? So that's the difference. I'm just trying to say that. Haven't you ever heard this intro? Right? It's still, and I love this last one that came out. I think it came out at Thrive. Your bio is not your intro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Michelle Cashin is just like, your bio is not your intro. Your bio is this long. Your intro should probably be about this long.
Yeah. Well, I have an intro video. So usually if I'm at an
Yes.
event, I have a video that introduces me, because I can't come on high energy when I was just introduced by low energy. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's a collide.
By the way, that's the tip, people. And by the way, Pegeen gave it to me, and she says, do the intro, because and make sure the intro is better than any 99.9% of them MCs who could ever do your intro.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so I have one of those too. Ah, geez. If there was somebody new now breaking into the MC field, what do you wish you knew when you started?
That number one, it can be a viable business, and number two, it's a business. And I think that most MCs, the struggle, the challenge, the anxiety is not from being great on stage. Like, we don't really have a problem with that. We know how to rock a stage, we know how to interact with people, we know how to keep the event flow going, we know how to get events back on time, right? The challenge and the problem is we don't know the business side of it. We don't know who are the companies and corporations paying. We don't know how to position ourselves. We don't know the right social media platforms to get on. So I would say, if you're beginning as an MC or aspiring MC, is to understand the business side, not just the art and the talent of it. And if you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I go? Then that's where you and I can have a conversation, because I am training emerging and aspiring MCs on the business side. But if you're looking to get started, is taking it seriously as a business, not just, oh, this is something that I'm good at. And when I see people begin to transition from, I'm not just an MC, but I'm running an entrepreneurial business that happens to be MCing, that's when the shift take place. So if you want someone to invest in you and to hire you, you have to understand the business side of it, and also be where the people who are hiring MCs are, which is LinkedIn. So if you are having a great time on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, that's great. But the meeting planners, director of events, the VP of events, they are writing the checks, and the check writers are on LinkedIn. So I would say, number one, take it seriously as a business. Number two, get on LinkedIn, be active, and be intentional.
Oh, I got to give a shout out to keynoter Larry Long Jr., who was like crushing it on LinkedIn. He said that's what made the difference in his last 2 years, was being live on LinkedIn almost every single day, even for a short clip. And then we give one more shout out to Mimi Brown. Came back and she cracked me up, because she goes, she has said, I was a salesperson, right? I sold everything, right? I even sold bras. I give you the gift of lift.
I love it.
It's like she's like catchphrase master, right? It was hilarious. All right, let's move on to the future. Speaking of Lyft, yikes. So Quinn, you've seen a lot, and you saw right March of 2020, and you saw these other things, right? And I think you of course too now know how to MC on virtual, hybrid, and in person. What do you think the future of MCing is in the next 10 years?
I think that the future of MC is going to be people understanding that it is absolutely a necessity and not a nice to have.
Yeah,
I believe that the future of emceeing is going to be people hiring more professional MCs with also integrating a lot of engaging techniques as well. So I can see MCs using AI through transitioning. I can see MCing using different types of just technology and tools
yeah,
to really kind of bring the show to life. I do think that if I can help it at all, that the amount of MC education is going to increase and people are going to realize why professional is needed. And I just think that the role is going to become more dynamic. I think it's going to become more well respected. And I think that if MCs want to stay on top of it, they are going to just have a couple of things up their sleeve on how they can make events more engaging by incorporating props, by incorporating AI, by incorporating technology. I don't think that going to an in-person event and having a voice of God or 100% AI host is going to take over. I think that those skill sets and those tools are going to be used
sure.
by the MC to
Yeah.
make the meeting and make the event more engaging and dynamic.
You'll love this. IMC, they there was a cohort end, like they did a final project, and they were talking about. So it's a Saudi Arabian company, and they wanted to sell to Ethiopia, and it turned out that they said they want to take their food products and sell it to Ethiopia, and a lot of them are halal, and like it's like actually pretty close to their culture. And so I came in there while they're presenting. I went to ChatGPT and asked a question too, and then so in the Q&A and the afterwards, I said, "Oh, this is a great presentation." I said, "Do you know have any idea how big the Ethiopian food market is?" And they're like, "I don't know, 300 million." It was something like 15 to 22 billion dollars. Like they had
Mm.
missed the whole scope, and ChatGPT gave me that answer. And so out of all the presentations, this they were meant they went through a whole cohort program, and the goal of the presentation is to culminate all the information you have and create a business idea for the company. And they had no idea what they stumbled onto, how big it was. And if
Yeah,
they just would have gone to chat gpt, asked the simple question, right, what's the food market like in any of these countries, they would have had the answer. That's
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
So I teach, and I really like to profound two things, Quinn, right? In emceeing and as well in engagement, right? Tech and tech. What I mean by that is technology, like AI and all these fancy video switching and other cool things, and technique, which is all the things we do as humans. And this is why
Yeah.
AI can never replace, right? AI doesn't know what to do when like if somebody, breaks something in the middle of the session, right? Quinn Conyers is going to find a way to like smooth that out, like make it
Yep.
part of the show, make it funny, make it
Yeah.
something, right? Instead of people being worried, is she okay? Right? No, like everything's fine, we can move on. So, I until AI figures that out, right, we all still have a job. So, speaking of which, of job, Quinn, did you know that Laugh NSA, who presents at Influence, is looking at a talk show host format for that program?
No, say that again.
Laugh NSA. Laugh NSA is the humor group in NSA.
Oh, okay, got you.
And David Caperton right now is sourcing acts. So if you want to fulfill your dream of either being a talk show host or a talk show act, I suggest you contact him.
Can you give me his information?
Oh yeah, I'll do an introduction for you, Quinn. Of course, we're gonna do that. The
Thank you.
reason why I
Yeah.
know this, the reason why I know this is because I'm the producer for the show.
Oh, well, even better. Listen, I mean, John, don't threaten me with a good time. You over here changing lives, interviewing people, and making dreams come
Uh,
true. So
uh,
I would love this is happening at Influence, you said?
oh yeah, Friday, the Friday before Influence like officially starts. Friday night, traditionally, Laugh NSA gets a room and they get to run a comedy show, and it is funny as hell.
I'm not funny though, John. I have funny things, but yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, just go back to your anything that I want you to source right later to source your favorite talk show memory. In fact, actually, we're going to move into this next session, right? Well, this is called the speed round. So in the speed round here, I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to answer as quick as possible, and I'm going to play some funny sound effects. Okay? All
Sounds
right,
good.
here we go. So, your favorite talk show memory?
Ooh, Oprah and Ricky Lake.
Ooh. Okay, your favorite college memory?
Being an RA.
Your favorite microphone?
Ooh, I have a Shure right now. A Shure.
Speaker you want to give a shout out to?
Ooh, speaker I want to give a shout out to. That's a good one. I would say, oh, there's so many that come into my mind. I'll say Jess Pettit. Jess Pettit just we really connected. So Jess Pettit.
Yeah, but Jess is amazing. I just saw her, and she actually did all the work, or led. She didn't do all the work, but she led the work to update NSA's MC's guide, and it was a bomb. It's coming
Yeah,
out.
and I was a part of that. Yep.
Yeah, I was honored to be asked to contribute to the virtual and the hybrid sections. So, okay, best teacher and why?
Best teacher. Oh my goodness. Miss Cody from high school. She was one of my favorite teachers. So shout out to Miss Cody, JP McCaskey High School in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Best coach and what did they teach you?
Best coach. I think my best coach is life. And I say life because they teach you everything. I don't think I can live that number.
That was your life. That was your life music, right? Life walk on music. Okay. What is your walk on song?
All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled.
Oh, nice. I can't play them all here because we're on streaming.
Fine.
I,
You're rocking. We're rolling.
I don't have that. And I don't have that license. Okay. The MC you respect and why?
The MC I respect and why. Okay, so there's this guy named Dan Ram. He is amazing. I want to say he is Indian. And he is just rocking. I mean, his energy, his style, the way he shows up, his LinkedIn. I'm like, yes to Dan Ram. So shout out to Dan Ram, amazing MC. Um, he's just amazing.
Mm. Okay. Your most amazing audience you've ever
Ooh,
had.
women entrepreneurs.
Oh.
Women entrepreneurs. I mean, if you put some women entrepreneurs, women business owners in a crowd, that lights me up better than a Christmas tree.
And your most memorable MC story.
My most memorable MC story. I would say I was hosting an event for Liz J. Simpson in Atlanta. And she really confirmed and affirmed me on stage. I was still battling with making this a priority in my speaking business. And she was just like, you're not good at this. This is your calling. This is something that you're really, really good at. So that's probably one of my favorite MC stories with myself and Liz J. Simpson.
Genius. All right, last question. If you could get people to magically remember one thing from this interview, what would it be?
That MCs are needed and necessary to transform your event into an epic experience.
Epic experience. Speaking of epic, thank you, Quinn, for being a guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. Watch our social medias. We're going to be posting photos, and we might even give you some insights about what we did as MCs to rock the social media marketing world show with our good friend Phil Mershon. Quinn, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Quinn says, get an MC for crying out loud. Did you know the fact I know is that 80% of hybrid conferences don't have a virtual MC, and that's a mistake. And if your MC is not Quinn Conyers, that is your biggest, most epic mistake. So remember that. Check it out. Check her out and learn about her work. If you are watching this here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment. Again, we're heading towards 2,000 downloads of this beautiful, amazing podcast that you can get at engagingvirtualmeetings.online, where you can get all the episodes and a new episode that drops every Wednesday of the week. In addition to that, we would love to. You want to learn more about emceeing? We use 2 MCs, by the way, in our own conference. We practice what we preach. Shout out to Joe Welch, who was our virtual MC last year, who crushed it, got all this amazing virtual-only content, right? It was 2 different experiences and made the valuable. Somebody said it was like being in the room. That's when you get it right. Check it out, engagingvirtualmeetings.com/CON. And most of all, you want to be like Quinn. Well, click the link, engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you too could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. I'll see you and MC you later.
Don't we start people and keep more people? Show